concluded with the final chapter from Douglas's most recent work, From LA/Rhino/Ranting Manor. To give the reader a sense of what Douglas planned for the rest of the novel, I preceded all this with a fax from Douglas to his London editor, Sue Freestone, who worked closely with Douglas on his books from the very first. Inspired by reading these Adams treasures on the CD-ROM, I enlisted the invaluable aid of Douglas's personal assistant, Sophie Astin, to cast the net wider. Were there other jewels we might include in a book tribute to Douglas's life? As it turned out, during fallow periods between books or multimedia mega-projects, Douglas had written articles for newspapers and magazines. These, together with the text on the CD-ROM, provided the magnificent pool of writings that gave life to this book. The next task was selection, which involved not the slightest shred of objectivity. Sophie Astin, Ed Victor, and Douglas's wife Jane Belson suggested their favourite bits, beyond which I simply chose pieces I liked best. When Douglas's friend and business partner Robbie Stamp suggested the book follow the structure of Douglas's website, Life, the Universe and Everything, everything fell into place. To my delight, the arc of the collected work took on the distinct trajectory of Douglas Adams's too brief but remarkably rich creative life. My most recent visit with Douglas took place in California, our afternoon stroll along Santa Barbara's wintry beach, punctuated by running races with his then 6-year-old daughter Polly. I had never seen Douglas so happy, and I had no inkling that this time together would be our last. Since Douglas died, he has come to mind with astonishing frequency, which seems to be the experience of many who are close to him. His presence is still remarkably powerful nearly a year after his death, and I can't help thinking he had a hand in the amazing ease with which this book came together. I know he would have keenly wanted you to enjoy it, and I hope you will. Peter Gazzardi, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, February the 12th, 2002. Prologue. Nicholas Rowe in The Guardian, Saturday, June the 3rd, 2000. In 1979, soon after The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was published, Douglas Adams was invited to sign copies at a small science fiction bookshop in Soho. As he drove there, some sort of demonstration slowed his progress. There was a traffic jam and crowds of people were everywhere, he recalls. It wasn't until he had pushed his way inside that Adams realised the crowds were there for him. Next day, his publisher called to say he was number 1 in the London Sunday Times bestseller list, and his life changed forever. It was like being helicoptered to the top of Mount Everest, he says, or having an orgasm without the foreplay. Hitchhiker had already been a cult radio show and was made in both television and stage versions. It expanded into 4 more books that sold over 14 million copies worldwide. There were records and computer games, and now after 20 years of Hollywood prevarication, it is as close as it's ever been to becoming a movie. The story itself begins on Earth with mild-mannered suburbanite Arthur Dent trying to stop the local council demolishing his house to build a bypass. It moves into space when his friend Ford Prefect, some have seen him as Virgil to Dent's Dante, reveals himself as a representative of a planet near Betelgeuse, and informs Arthur that the Earth itself is about to be demolished to make way for a hyperspace express route. They hitch a ride on a Vogon spaceship and begin to use the Hitchhiker's Guide itself, a usually reliable repository of all knowledge about life, the universe, and everything. Adams' creativity and idiosyncratic intergalactic humour have had a pervasive cultural influence. The phrase, Hitchhiker's Guide to, quickly became common parlance, and there have been numerous copycat spoof sci-fi books and TV series. His Babelfish, a small fish you can place in your ear to translate any speech into your own language, has been adopted as the name of a translation device on an internet search engine. He followed up his success with several other novels, as well as a television programme and a book and CD-ROM on endangered species. He has founded a .com company, H2G2, that has recently taken the idea of the guide full circle by launching a service that promises real information on